Well, good morning. This is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred. I'm really glad you could join me today. You know, here it is. It's December 23rd, and I'm in my shirt, you know, so it's really wonderful out here. So today what we're going to do is we're going to pick some Swiss chard here in the garden, and then we're going to go into the kitchen and cook it, you know, using our pressure cooker, Instapot pressure cooker. So I usually like to pick about 10 or 12 leaves, you know, and Howie here with the camera, you know, we both love Swiss chard on our potatoes. It's our top of our favorite. So I'm just going to pick some of these here, and you know that's what's wonderful. Look at all the Swiss chard I still have here, and so I'm going to pick a few more of these Swiss chard leaves, and then I'll see you in the kitchen. So anyhow, we're in the kitchen now. We're going to get ready to cook the Swiss chard. And you know, I actually ended up picking a couple leaves off the broccoli too, the plant that was out there. These are basically like collard greens, like the collard leaves, the broccoli leaves are. And in fact, collard greens it's very similar to broccoli. It's just without, collard greens don't have the broccoli head on it. And so anyhow, the Swiss chard, this Swiss chard that we're going to be cooking, this is what a pack of their seeds look like. It's Swiss chard. It's $1.29 for a pack. Now let me just take a few out and show you what they look like. They're just little tiny seeds that you would plant about 3-4 inches apart, and then you could thin them to about 12 inches apart once they reach maturity. But yeah, planting direct seed in your garden is really easy to do for this Swiss chard. So anyhow, you know, I used to take my big knife and chop up my Swiss chard real fine, you know, but I like to try to keep things as simple as possible. So generally what I do is I'm just going to stuff this whole pile in here. You can see we got a pretty big pile here of Swiss chard. So I'm going to take the lid off of here. You know, I hear that little noise there, and it always reminds me of that movie Star Wars, that robot R2-D2. This whole Instapot kind of reminds me of that, you know, every time I take the lid off. So I'm going to put in 1 cup of water into the Instapot. And you know, the beauty of these Instapots too is, you know, the biggest advantage is you can set them and forget them. You know, I actually just cooked some of my beans in here yesterday and around 2 o'clock. And so I put my beans and all the spices in there and tomato sauce, and then I went down my camera blind to sit there and take photos for the slideshows. And so I came back, this was about an hour on low, and so, and I set this for, actually I cooked my beans, been cooking them for about an hour at pressure, and then it sat for an hour on low, and so they were just delicious. But that's what's nice about, one of the nice advantages is you can just set them and go do your other chores and stuff. So I just simply going to take this big pile and just stuff it in there. That should do it. Because what's going to happen is these are going to cook down real nice and soft, and then I'll put them on my plate and cut them up nice and small. And don't forget to close your valve. You know, I've forgotten in the past, and you know, it won't come up to pressure, and so always try to remember to close the valve. You know, the valve on these, it's really no different than your faucet. You know, you open and close the handle, turn the water off, and basically you're just turning this valve to keep the steam from coming up it. And so I'm going to put manual. I'm going to cook these for 5 minutes on pressure, because it has the stalks in them, and I want to make sure they get enough time to cook. And I'll maybe give them about a 2-minute release. And so that's going to come on in a few seconds here. And there you go. And so once these are cooked, I'll see you back in the kitchen. Okay, so the pressure cooker is finished cooking for the 5 minutes at pressure, and then it's actually 4 minutes on natural release right now. You know, Howie and I get talking and the minutes just fly by. So, you know, I used to cook my greens in the, I had a Farberware 12-inch by 16-inch electric cooker. In fact, one of my daughter's friends had asked about how you cook Swiss chard. So I did do a video on that in earlier days on how I cook Swiss chard. But now, you know, we've got this, bought this Instapot a couple months back, and you know, we really do enjoy cooking out of here. And even the cleanup is so nice because everything's cooked in the stainless steel pot. So anyhow, I better get going and take this lid off of here. Actually, I need to release the steam first. Now there's not too much steam coming out of here. You know, you almost could do a little facial for your wrinkles too. It always reminds me of that. I don't know why. Not that I've ever done one of those, but I thought a way how I could capture that energy that's being released, but I haven't figured out a way to do anything with that energy yet. I thought about blowing up a balloon or something with it, but I haven't figured that out yet. So anyhow, it's almost, oh, there goes the pin dropped. So now we can take the lid off of this. Take some of the water off the lid and then put it on this trusty holder here. And so if you can take a look in here and see how the greens have just really melted down, you could say. And so don't get that too close, you'll get steam on the lens. So what I'm going to do is take my trusty tongs here and just take the pile out of here. You know, the great thing about Swiss chard too is it's in the spinach family. That's why it tastes, it's so nice and tender while I cook it. This always reminds me of my good friend Will Christie from Potato Straw. He lives in Canada. We talk over the phone a lot about gardening and nutrition, and so we really enjoy our conversations. But you know, Will has started some nice gardens out back, and I've encouraged him to start growing some Swiss chard. And so it's nice to see people starting to move the Swiss chard to the front burner. You know, kale's no longer king. Swiss chard is, you know, and so I would encourage you to think about growing more Swiss chard. So what I do now is I cut it up now that it's nice and soft and tender. And it's just a lot much more easier. I basically go across in cubes like this, and then you can just turn the plate and just go the other direction. Kind of like a tic-tac-toe board, you could say. And just get those pieces of Swiss chard nice and small. I use a nice sharp knife and my fork. You can kind of see to help work the two together. So they're nice and soft and nice and chewable. You can see the stalks have, you know, they're nice and tender. They melt in your mouth. And so, and then also we're going to use just a sprinkle of Bragg's liquid aminos on here, just a little bit of that. It's one of my favorites. And you know, I also did a video how you can get 2 bottles out of one because it's so concentrated. As soon as I take one home, I get an empty bottle that I saved and fill half and half with the liquid amino, and then I put water in the rest. So you can get 2 bottles for the price of one. And then there's not as much salt content there either. And you know, we like to really, that's why our name is Plant Smart Living. We like to emphasize smart living there, you know, to try to save money and be frugal in everything that we do. And so sweet chili sauce, that's another favorite. We'll put a little bit on here. And so this is probably our most favorite meal here at Plant Smart Living. So yeah, we just love being able to go out to the garden and get these nice fresh vegetables. There's no, you know, I think they say that, you know, most vegetables or fruit have to travel 1,500 miles before they get to a supermarket. And so this way there's no energy, no nutrition loss or anything once you go out and cut them from the garden and cook them in the kitchen. So anyhow, yeah, we're going to have this Swiss chard over some red Norland potatoes. I microwave these potatoes in the microwave. I still like the microwave for doing a lot of things. The potatoes and other things are good for warming up. So yeah, there's the meal. We're going to put some flavorings on that. And, you know, I did do a video on flavorings too that you might be interested to watch. So anyhow, if you have any questions or comments about this video, please leave them in the comment section below. Or if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so you can receive future videos. So anyhow, I just want to thank you for joining me today. Until next time, this is Plant Smart Living with Farmer Fred.